So here we are again with another Nintendo Wii re-release for Wii U, and this time around it is Kirby's Adventure Wii, otherwise known as Kirby's Return to Dreamland if you're from America, and as you can imagine, I'm not, as you can tell by the voice. In terms of the game itself, well, it's a very back to basics approach for Kirby, and that's probably a good thing or a bad thing depending on how much you like Kirby games. Me personally, I tend to like Kirby more when Nintendo and how are doing something different with him. So, I'm a big fan of the epic yarns, the Kirby's Pinball Land, that crazy golf game that came out for the SNES. It's I like it when they don't do a standard platform with him, because to be honest, when they do normally try a standard platformer, I find it a little bit dull. Now, I'm not saying that Kirby's Adventure is a bad game. It's a very polished game, it's a very colourful game, it's very easy to get into, very simple, but for me personally there isn't really enough to it for me. The main issue I have is that, like most Kirby games, you can pretty much just fly through every area, literally just fly, just float through every level, get to the end and then you're done. And although there are a few reasons to drop down to collect items, especially these gears that you need to find throughout the game, 120 of them in all, it kind of just feels like you can just breeze through levels really quickly, and for some people that's going to be fine. That's, I would say this is clearly geared for a young audience that maybe aren't so competent at games, although there are fans of Kirby that are a little bit older, and I'm not going to knock you for that. I just feel that for me personally, I like my platform games with a bit more bite to them, a bit more challenge. And the only instances of the game where I've really found there being much of a challenge is the unlockable challenge areas that you can find, and they're kind of over far too quickly and don't really feel like they had much of a purpose. But in terms of Kirby, it's a Kirby game. It is bright, it is colourful, the enemies are cute, the backgrounds and areas are gorgeous. It's a very late Wii game, so you think it would push the console to its limits, and obviously it doesn't because it is just a 2D platformer, but it still looks fantastic, and that is the important thing. It plays solidly. The controls are simple, they work. You can jump, you can suck, you can blow. Everything that Kirby can normally do, you can steal enemies' abilities, that's all there. To suck up bigger blocks, you need to waggle the Wii remote as you're sucking up, which is a bit annoying. It's kind of a bit needless, really. There's no real purpose to it. But it's a Kirby game. I mean, it's not really too much you can say. It even has a lot of the familiar Kirby things you'd expect, like that big tree boss that spits apples at you. That seems to be in every Kirby game, and that is no exception here. They seem to rely on the tried and tested Kirby formula. Again, if you like Kirby games, then you probably already bought this by the time you've watched this video and made up your own mind, and that's fine, because Kirby has many fans. Unfortunately, I'm not really one of them. I had to go with the co-op mode as well. You can play up to 4 players at once, which is always great in a platform game. Co-op in games is always good, especially when it's local multiplayer. Unfortunately, the co-op in this game is kind of a bit needless again, because I was playing this last night with my fiance, 2-player mode, and to be honest, it seems like the other players get a short shrift in terms of what they can do. My fiance played as King DDD, and that's great that it has slightly different abilities to Kirby, but to be honest, if you're Kirby, you're going to be the main one playing the game, and there's not really much for the other players to do. If you're playing it well, Kirby will just walk in front killing everything, meanwhile player 2, 3 and 4 aren't really doing much, and there are occasions where the game will have to pause for a few seconds because Kirby's got an ability or he's using an ability, and that just makes it a little frustrating for other players to enjoy it. And I find that's not really good for a multiplayer game if kind of other players are sitting around while Kirby gets to do all the cool stuff, like use his massive screen killing abilities and moves and stealing copy abilities from other enemies. Meanwhile, King DDD gets to throw around the hammer. It doesn't feel like he does anything more than that. And I think that's a problem for a co-op game. If you're going to have a co-op mode in your game, you need to find a reason for other players to be using that and actually enjoying themselves. And I think that's a big detriment to this game. But as I say, I'm not knocking this game. You know, I can see what makes this game good, and it is a good game. It's not broken, you know, it plays absolutely fine, and Kirby fans will absolutely adore this game and snap it up, and I think you should, especially for the price. I do understand that it's kind of not easy to get hold of these days in terms of a retail copy, so the best thing about these digital releases is it's a very easy way for you to get these games at a reasonable price. It's unfortunate that it's not been released at a price that's like a cut price like they have been with other Wii releases. But if you enjoy Kirby games, then this is probably a good game for you to buy. If you don't like Kirby games, this probably isn't going to turn you onto the series. I'd maybe suggest something like maybe Kirby's Epic Yarn as a game that's a bit more enjoyable, still quite simple and quite easy, but I think it's a little bit more enjoyable, especially in the co-op mode, and there's a bit more going on in that game. Here it's more of a kind of very basic platform game, which might not be enough for many of you. But otherwise, if you can handle the very slow pace and the simpleness of the game, then you know, this is a good game. I'm not knocking this game at all. It's a very good game, just possibly not for everybody. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you like this video and you want to see more, please subscribe to the Nintendo Life YouTube channel. Let us know that you like these videos. Share them with your friends, because the more people that watch our videos, the more people that comment, the more that we're spurred on to make videos. So please subscribe to our channel. Otherwise, I shall see you next time. Until then, happy gaming.